you didn't graduate. So how was that? And how did your parents take that?
Be that person that you're quite different. When someone comes to your house, they envy you, not your furniture.
You know what? We've sat down and we've looked at it, and you know what we've decided to pop is we do not want to be guinea pigs. I'm sorry. Bye. Look for us later when you grow.
Do you know Zimama?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This guy is not looking for it to go all the way up. He's made 3 billion profit.
Yes.
So he's looking, okay, you guys now coming. Okay, let me sell it back to you guys.
Okay.
So the few are always doing the opposite of the many. And that's sort of the mentality that happens with the world.
And I'm like, damn. Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Just to Kick It Is a Blessing podcast. Welcome to the podcast where it's all about time, where we teach, inspire, motivate, and entertain through the art of storytelling. Today is another special episode, and I have a special guest in studio with me. Well, let me tell you something about the guest. I didn't recently meet him, but this is a podcast we've been meaning to have for a very, very long time, since I was recording back on Gong Road. And finally, he's here. And I guess timing is perfect. God's timing is perfect. So I'm happy to have him on the podcast today. So without further ado, I will let him introduce himself.
Thank you for having me. Like you said, it's been a long time coming.
Yes.
I think Gong Road days was about, 2 years ago?
Yeah, man.
More or less.
2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
And here we are. So like Tupac has said, God's timing, Godspeed. So my name is Karleb Sam. Most people call me CK. So any is fine. I prefer CK more or less. And basically, I'm here to have a good time. What do? I enjoy life. I do biashara here and there. I think we'll talk about it as, let me not give too much in the intro. But that's what I do. I'm a life fanatic. I love life. It's a good time. It's a short amount of time we have here on Earth.
Yes.
It's only right we take advantage of it. And we'll also talk much about it with your interview. But take advantage of what life throws at you. Take the risk and, have fun.
Yeah. I think recently I saw these beautiful photos you and your wife to be put up on Instagram and announcing that you're going to be a father soon. So how are you looking? How are you feeling about that next chapter in your life, man?
Well, today we're recording. Today's the 1st of November.
Yes.
We're due in a month's time.
Okay.
Now, trust me, these things, it's never, there's no manual for it. So it comes as it comes.
Yeah.
And we got to know this early this year in April.
Okay.
I think we were a month in. And it came as a surprise. But I think when you know you're with the right person, it doesn't scare you as much.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have a short time on Earth.
Yeah.
When things are thrown your way, go with the flow. Don't stop it. So when I knew I'm becoming a father, at first it was a big shock. I didn't know what to tell my parents.
Yes.
We're not yet officially married. My dad's a pastor. So so you can imagine how you're going to deal with this situation. But the reception was good, very supportive. And personally, it's just a matter, I think when you become a father, the thing you need to really do the most is to step up into that role of taking responsibility. It's what a lot of people shy away from or run away from or disagree, start saying, oh, this is not my child. Some may be right, but most of them, I believe, they're wrong. They just don't want to take up that responsibility because I believe it comes with a lot, not only financially, but deep down. Your wife or the lady you're having a baby with is going to change. The baby is going to come. You're going to have that responsibility of now becoming the father figure you need to be.
Yeah.
Like I remember Kanye West once said he used to, look at women in a certain way. But when he got his daughter, he started looking at women in a different perspective. It changes your perspective. So that's sort of the season I'm in. So it's really mental growth and mental change. Find out that I start hanging out with more people who are also fathers or fathers to be, mostly fathers. You want to understand how is it I'm going to take into this role. But that's what we are waiting for. I don't know if we said it officially, but I'm expecting a baby boy.
Wow.
So
Congratulations,
at
man.
least inheritance itenda mali.
No.
On a light
Congratulations, man.
note, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, no. And how did her parents take it?
Oh, her parents were cool with it.
Yeah.
We took time before we told the dad.
Yeah.
The mom, I think, knew. The mom is actually the one who knew before even us. Instinct, motherly instinct, and
Yes.
just saw Whitney and was like, sorry, I forgot to say her beautiful name is Whitney.
Yes.
And yeah, when she went home, there was a time the mom just saw her and was like, "Are you pregnant?" And she's like, "No." Then we went and now tested.
Yeah.
So they were very happy and also responsive and all. It's been a good journey on both family ends.
Okay. The craziest thing that you said is one of my friends has told me the same story. She didn't realize that she was pregnant. It's her mom who realized 1st. It's her mom who said, "Hey, the way I've seen you these past few days, you must be definitely pregnant." And then they ended up going to get us tested, and they found out that she was pregnant. Her, and I think her now, she was even like 2 months down. She didn't even
for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
She didn't tell at all,
Yeah.
She was just like, "Nope, me, I don't know." Her mom's like, "Hey, no, there's something wrong here."
I get.
Yeah, but congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I think also before we get into like what you do, you just said you didn't graduate. So how was that, and how did your parents take that?
Oh yeah, we're talking about this. I don't think I said it here, but
No,
we're
we were talking about it off air.
offline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for a very long time, I wanted to do business, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So like behind the scenes, we're talking with Tupac and Shaq behind the cameras, who's doing a phenomenal job. And I was just catching up with him because I used to do film and TV.
Yeah.
When I finished school, high school, that was back in 2014, I joined Technical University of Kenya to do engineering. That's what they call me to do. I didn't want to do that totally. My mom wanted, she's a very good, she can convince you to do stuff. And that's how I found myself in engineering. I really wanted to do film. That was my main goal, a story for another day.
Yeah.
But to cut the long story short, in engineering school, we used to enter, and engineering is tough. So I remember this fourth year people came and said, "You know what, you guys, 20% of you are going to finish this course." Then I knew myself, man, those guys who finish stuff, finish what you started, that mindset.
Yeah.
To cut the long story short, one semester down the line, I was like, I'm not coming back to this school. And that's how I left engineering.
Yeah.
I had to drop out. So I went and talked to my dad, said, look, we're wasting time here. I knew what I wanted to do from day one. And that's something about me. I chase what I want to do. And that's how I landed to do film. Then my dad allowed me to go and do that. So I did film for some time, finished the classes, didn't get to graduate, then dropped out again to now get into what I actually do, because I got to stumble upon it while I was in film school.
Yeah.
And that's how I am where I am today. It was tough in the first 3 years of dropping out and not having a degree and not going to school. But I think long term, with my parents and my partner's parents, they start seeing, okay, we didn't drop out to enjoy life and just have fun. We dropped out to do something meaningful, and that's very important. And so they let us do what we do. And it took quite a while, but eventually they allowed us to do what we do. I make it sound so easy, but trust me, in those 3 years, it wasn't a walk in the park. It was quite tough.
Okay. You've talked about how you dropped out and everything. What's your advice to someone that's listening to this that wants to drop out to start a business, but they don't know how to approach that conversation with their parents?
Okay, so your advice is what, to them,
To
or
them.
to how to approach the parents?
Yeah, how to approach your parents. How do you tell them, like, look, me have this thing figured out, and I think I want to do this. I don't want to do this because I feel like it's taking a lot of my time. Because I feel like you've been fortunate enough, but there's a lot of people who keep on fighting with their parents about this thing, they want to achieve something, but their parents are not allowing. So how do you try and convince your parents to allow you to do something?
Well, good question. The convincing part, I don't know how to advise anyone, because parents are different.
Yes.
I've met many people who are like, that conversation, we can't even bring it up. Just forget about it.
So
Yeah. But I can advise them individually. One, I know we normally we know what we want to do. I have this figured out. I have a plan. There's some wisdom that comes with our parents, which is good, but things are changing. Times are changing. Most people who becomes, these days, many people who become successful, you find most of them actually is self-taught. So a big advice of what I tell people, if you found what you want to do, and I remember also I was asking Shaq behind the scenes, and he said also much of what he knows also is self-taught.
Yeah.
If you can sit down and teach yourself something, then that's something you can decide to pursue on your own. But if you need help, if you need sort of a guidance and structure, and if you're someone who's not disciplined, because look, dropping out is not a fun title to have, or I don't have a degree. It might sound cool, and you're part of those guys who just, you're doing your business, you sound so awesome, you dropped out, how did you do that? No, it's not cool, man. That thing it's stressful. It's not fun. It's not like we're a club of school of dropouts. There's an advantage of going to school, a lot of advantage. I'm a big fan of education. I'm not a big fan of school.
Yeah.
Education is what I pursue a lot of people to do. So at an individual level, if you want to drop out and you want to do your own thing, seek knowledge first. There's what you call, have you heard of Wilson's Law?
No.
So there's this Kidlin's Law, Murphy's Law, Wilson's Law.
Yes.
So Wilson's Law is something, it's a law that states, if you put knowledge and intelligence first, money is going to come.
Yeah.
Okay? So you have to dive deep into seeking knowledge and wisdom and intelligence first. If you can acquire that, know how you're going to execute it. If you can do that while you're still in school before you drop out, figuring that intelligence and stuff out,
Knowledge.
the Wilsons first, then you can drop out if you figure that part out. But if you're still a person with an idea, I want to drop out so that I start seeking, trust me, that thing is quite hectic. Same to people who are also working. I find people who are like, yo, I'm tired of my boss. I don't have time to do my own thing. No. You need to have something going on so that you can have your life continue as you continue pursuing this other thing. So seek knowledge first.
Okay. So now you can tell us what you do.
Oh, good. So what I do, I'm in the finance sector.
Yes.
Top of my head first. Industry, if you just search, and if you're watching this, you can search the industry that has most billionaires and millionaires in the world. Can you take a guess? Can you think which industry it is?
Probably now because you said it, I'll say finance.
Okay. So there's finance, technology, manufacturing, retail, real estate, energy, media and entertainment, what Sharks does. So all those are top 10 industries with the most billionaires and millionaires. But the number one is finance.
Yeah.
So when I was in school, I used to try and figure out, okay, what is it I can do? And I stumbled upon finance.
Yeah.
In a rather different way than the normal. My cousin came from the UK, and she does what I actually do right now, investments and trading in the financial markets. So I do not only focus on Forex, because a lot of people, and we'll demystify this, a lot of people, when they hear Forex, it's just a red flag. Okay, why am I watching this podcast? This is another Forex trader who's come to Tupac's. No. We'll talk about this in a different perspective.
Yes.
But the industry, the most billionaires and millionaires is finance. Why is that? If you're looking, economies run on businesses. So it depends on the private and public sector, the PPP, to succeed.
Right.
Okay. Now, if the private companies, which, for example, Safaricom, for it to become as big as it is, to make over $10 billion, over $1 billion in profits, how do they get to that point? They need financials along the way. And the financial can be you and me. It doesn't need to be someone who's in finance. That's the great thing about doing what I do. You don't need to have the background in finance and economics. You can invest in a company. If that company becomes $1 billion company, you have some shares, maybe 10%. You own 10% of $1 billion company, you're worth $100 million. So every industry, be it media, entertainment, tech, all those things. For every one tech billionaire, we know of Elon Musk, we know of Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. That's the guy at the helm who's had the idea. But behind the scenes, Elon Musk is worth $200 billion. He only owns what percent of Tesla? Like, okay, I know for example, like Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos owns about 15 to 20% of Amazon, which is $1 trillion company. The rest, so he has about 150 billion net worth of that company. But who has the rest 850 billion? It's people like you and me.
Yeah.
So he's made a lot of people along the way. So I decided, you know what? the good thing about finance, it helps me enter any industry that I want. I'm a big fan of media and entertainment. Let me go find a media and entertainment company, invest in it, have shares there. I'm part of that. I like technology. I want to grow with the AI and technology boom that's surging at the moment. I'm a fan of cryptocurrency. So you can play around in any industry. So that's what I found myself into. I became so obsessed with this industry, and that's what currently I do. I do a lot of investments, trading, and basically what we call speculating in the financial markets. So I don't like focusing myself with saying I'm a forex trader. I'm more of broad. I'm trying to expand my scope more to look at the whole finance industry, playing around with stocks, playing around with cryptos, bonds, forex, etc. So
Okay.
that's what I do.
Wow. How did you start? I think that's the next question.
How I started online, I'm self-taught.
Yes.
I don't have a finance degree. Like you said, I'm a school, or what I've just said, I'm a school dropout. I don't have any degree. Not a big fan of school, big fan of education. So I educated myself. So when I was in high school, and it was a good thing, I never used to like education, academics. I just wasn't a fan. So I never used to study at all. I was in one of these, do they call them national schools? Yes, it's been a while. Yes, the national schools. I was in Lenana. Changes, so they say, so they call it. So I never used to like school. So for the first 3 years, I never used to study. I never used to give a damn. I used to know I want to do film. This Kiswahili I'm learning, unless I want to make a Kiswahili film. I just wanted to go. My head was in Hollywood. How can I get to New York School of Arts and just study the arts of filmmaking? So for a long while, so I tried to drop out actually in Form 2. I mean, academics wasn't my thing. I sat down with my parents. I'd done research of universities in the US.
Yeah.
And I had this book. I'd written notes. Like, I know which school. You know that thing you say? You're 16 years old. You're sitting down with your parents telling them, I have it figured out. I have a plan. Because I used to watch things like Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Jaden Smith. That time he was like, what, 10, 12 years old. He was young.
Yeah.
I was like, Yanni, this guy is doing what I want to do. I'm wasting my time. Let me go there. So anyway, to cut the long story short, I didn't. So when I tried to tell my parents in Form 2 that I want to drop out, they refused. I ended up just going back to school. So what I did, I never used to like any subject. I never used to study anything. So I said, okay, since I'm going to be here for another 2 years, Form 3 and 4, let me focus on studying one thing and become very good at one thing. So what was that one thing I decided to get into? Physics. So I just said, I went and took Form 1, Form 2, Form 3 physics books and said, I'm going to read this thing and become really good at physics. It's too late for me to become good at many things. I'm just going to focus on one thing. And the good thing is I became really good at physics and a little bit of math because they go together. Very good at physics. It's the only subject I didn't become Janjain in the last exams, if you know what I mean. And I passed like with flying colors.
Yeah.
So to cut the long story short, when I got into now finance and forex and all that, I had the idea or the belief that you can teach yourself anything you put your mind into because of what I'd taught myself in physics. So when I got this, I didn't start asking which school can I go to, what can I do. I have internet, I have a brain. So I just started doing research. And that's how I got into forex and started learning how to trade and invest online.
Okay, wow. I read a bit of your story, very inspiring story. You said you started in apartment with your partner.
Yes.
2 young guys.
It was an apartment, bed sitter.
Bed sitter.
Yes.
So how was that? How did you even and your co-founder meet, and how was that journey?
Oh, good. I think I can mix the two. So I think some things fate. I like to say it's God's plan.
Yeah.
God intended this from the very start on how we are going to. These things you never panga.
Yeah.
So what happened when I went to Tuk Technical University of Kenya after we had finished high school, I met Ken. We were in the same class.
Yeah.
My partner is called Ken.
Yeah.
We're in the same class, and somehow we just clicked from day one. We became very good friends from day one. So the whole of that first semester, we were just good friends. He used to have he moved out early, so I used to go chill at his house for some time. So we used to have fun there. That was like our trap house. You know, that time, a place you could enjoy, place you could crash.
And the way Ken is so quiet, it looks so impossible. But
Oh
it's okay.
my goodness! If you knew Ken, he's even now much more chilled. Back then, Ken was a guy.
Ken, bro. Like I meet Ken and I'm so shocked. I'm like, he's so quiet. You know?
He was a crazy guy. If you listen to his stories, but I think you'll have him one day. And he'll come
definitely.
and share his story.
Yeah.
So we met in uni, and somehow we just parted ways when I dropped out. He also dropped out. He went to KU, Kenyatta University, after the first semester. He actually dropped out before me and was like, yo, I'm not staying here. Let me figure a way of coming out of this school. So we sort of left. I went to do film. He went and did other stuff in KU. So in KU, he stumbled upon investing in Forex as well, his own way. And me stumbled upon mine my own way, like with my cousin when my cousin came. And then later on, we're just, now we're still friends, so we're catching up. So I was like, bro, I have this business idea. Let me tell you, then you see if it's something viable. Then he was like, also, may I have something? But you go first. Then somehow I was just like, I stumbled upon this thing called Forex. That was back in 2016.
Wow.
I stumbled upon this thing called Forex, and he was like, yeah, that's the same thing I've been doing. I've been going to the libraries. This is what I've been studying. And we were like, you know what? Let's meet up and share notes. So we met up. Things were ablaze. We were like, you know what? Why don't we pursue this thing? Everyone, personal level, we were just obsessed with this thing, and we just want to do it. So that was late 2016. So 2017, he decided, you know what? Him is leaving school first, early 2017. And he left school. And now, remember him, we had created his house as a trap house. It's a place for guys just come to Ken's house to enjoy ourselves. So, Nasia Tinachomea Ken picture. So, Ken, if you're watching, those were back then in those days. So now he moved into a secret hideout in Kahawaskari, right near the Shell petrol station. That one, when you're entering, it's right behind it. And it was a bed sitter, a small one. I don't know if I can gather some pictures. Maybe I can send you. You can share.
Yeah, you can. Yes. We can see. If you have photos, we'll definitely put it on a pop-up.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it used to be the bed, there was a table and a chair, a stove, and the bathroom.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's where we started.
Wow.
And I used to go to Ken's house for like 3 days, stay at his house. We just immerse into this thing. So the bed was small. If you see the picture, the bed was small. So Ken, we used to take turns. So no homo. We never used to sleep together. So like, ikifika usiku, Ken can sleep 5 hours.
Yeah.
Then may sleep the other 5 hours.
Yeah.
Then now we are all awake mchana. If you want to take a nap, you can take. But usiku, we were splitting into like 5 hours.
That's some real brotherhood, bro. I really respect that.
Yeah, you may used to leave home because I was still with my folks. Go there with Ken. We just do that. We did that for about 4 months. Every week, just doing that back to back. And then one day, I was like, yo, Ken. Now, me, I finished school. I didn't graduate, but I left school. I was like, you know what? Let's move in together. Let's find a house, a 2-bedroom house, and move in together. So fortunately, my auntie was opening some houses. She had built some houses in a good family friend of ours in Zimmerman. I never knew Zimmerman. Do you know Zimmerman?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I never knew any place like Zimmerman existed. So Zimmerman is up to TRM, Roysambu. You go down, the first stage you'll fika is Mirema. Then the next one when you pass is what is it called? Zimmerman. Then when you pass Zimmerman and go straight Kabisa, you go to Kahawa West. Yeah. Where, I don't know, unfortunately, it's where the building fell. I don't know if you saw there's a building that fell.
Yes, I saw recently there's a building
that fell. Yeah, that was Kahawa West, not Zima Kahawa Sukari za Thika Road. Uko chini. Yeah. Anyway, so Zimmerman is there. So if you don't know and you're watching this, also I never knew it existed. So I came and saw like, hey, there's a place called Zimmerman. It's ghetto. It's ghetto, so it's not like a fancy place. It's not like I saw this fancy place. It's ghetto kabisa. Yeah. But me, I was like, I want to start my own life. Let me start somewhere where if I move into a house, bills zikishiknikana najikaza. Not calling mom, I'm in Kileleshwa here, bill is 60K, I don't have rent. Yeah. So I decided, you know what, humble yourself, start from somewhere. And that's how we got into a 2-bedroom now apartment. We never had any television, furniture. And Seneca actually says this. I think we're living that philosophical life. Seneca says, if you go, be that person that you're quite different. When someone comes to your house, they envy you, not your furniture. So they're not like, this is a nice house. Oh my God. How much did you buy this for? This is some good mahogany furniture. Hey, it's some nice leather seats.
Yeah.
No, as we just had, you know what? We didn't have no TV. Where the TV was, we had a whiteboard and stickers. And we just had this table that we brought from the other house. And anyway, to cut the long story short, that's where we started with that 2-bedroom house. We lived there from 2018 all the way to 2022, thereabout. So we left 2023, about 5 years. And Zimmerman was my place. And that's how we actually started Financial Hub. So that's where the incubation of ideas, execution, that's why we wrote our book.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I didn't come with it. We have a book that we wrote on the financial markets.
Yes.
And that's where we started.
Wow.
So that's like in a nutshell.
Well, that's crazy that you started that, and from Zimmerman all the way to Lavington Mall.
Okay, yeah.
What a journey it's been.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere along the way you looked at Ken and told him, bro, this thing is not a must, peace out? Or is there a point you felt like quitting?
Okay. Now,
From the early days, not now, but from the early
Okay.
days, was there a point you felt like, hey, Iki to see a must, by the way?
so let me tell you something. Statistically,
Yeah.
95 to 99% of traders or forex people fail.
Yes.
This industry success is very few.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people have banned the name forex, because they think of it as a get rich quick. They come into it. Actually, some get rich quick and then lose it quick. Some just burn their money from the word go. So that was the case for us. I remember when Ken started trading his account with some friends, he was doing it. He had a $300 account. In 2 weeks, they're taking that account to $1,200. So we knew, and that time you're young, you're what, 19, 19, 20. You had $300. You've grown it to 1,200. So you have 30K. Then all of a sudden in 2 weeks, you have 120 Gs. From that point on, you're like, if 300 grew to 120, if 30K grew to 120, 120 can grow to 3 million.
Yeah.
So you're like, now over here we've hacked to crack the code. The guys in school are just wasting time.
Yeah.
But we blew that account very fast. In like 2 days. They took some trade on oil. Oil is a crazy market, and they lost it, all of it instantly. So there were those days when we used to lose accounts, and we never gave up. Somehow, thinking about it, and I'm not like trying to cover myself just because I've gotten to where I am. There's no day we ever. That's the good thing of working with partners, because if you're alone, it's easy for you to lose motivation and inspiration unless you're truly obsessed. But most times, if you're more than two, there are bad days I have. Let's say we're doing a business with you. There are days you just find me, I'm just having a tough, maybe family is stressing me. You keep motivating me like, bro, we should just push on. There are days you'll have those days, and I'll help you. So it was a good thing we were together, because we really helped each other in bad days, support financially each other, mentally, psychologically, emotionally. So those days actually came, but no, we blew many accounts, we lost money, but we just pushed on. We were just like, you know what, we have to make this work regardless. And a good thing, something good we did that really helped us. Now, I do a lot of things currently. I do personal trading for my own funds, and we started doing copy trading where we can invest for anyone who's interested, any client. I do teaching. So we do teaching, which was sort of slowing down a bit. We want to focus more on the trading for people and performance. So I do teaching, and then we also do entrepreneurship. And then I also have my partner with a garage called Sin Auto. It's in Langata. And those are the things we have running at the moment. So when we started Financial Hub, we decided to go into entrepreneurship as well. The Financial Hub is the business side apart from trading. So this business side used to help us, sustain us when we're having bad days. Because in trading and investment, it's not always good months. You're not always happy and making money. And that's what people sort of perceive, like, Karleb, you should be making millions every month. Trading doesn't work like that. Even Warren Buffett, the greatest financier of all time, that months where you go losing money. So we never got to that point where we should give up. It was tough days. Tough days were promised. And I keep laughing and telling Ken, honestly, if I knew how hard this thing was going to be when I started out, I don't think I would have journeyed in this boat.
Yes, with you.
With you. I've just told you. If someone gave me a glimpse of the future like this and I saw, nah, bro, this is too tough. The road ahead is bumpy. But once you put your head into something and you're obsessed, and mark me, I've said obsessed a lot of times. You need to be fully obsessed with something, fully, in order to become a master at it. If you want to become an expert, you know, the way the Bible says, have you ever seen someone who's skilled at their work? For they shall dine with kings. And nobles and queens. You don't have to be a king to be the other kings. Become just good at what you do. Trust you me, you're going to sit with people in rooms you never expected. So that's what we just kept doing. Let's just become good at this. And that's how, fortunately, God ametubariki tumefika from Zimmerman to Lavington.
No. I really like what you've said, and I think I'll just repeat it for the crowd is you don't have to be a king to sit with other kings. All you need to do is excel at what you do.
Exactly.
You just need to stand out. And I think that it speaks volumes. Like the guy that we had previously on the seat is called Lennox Omondi, started an amazing company. And now just from where he was born to now going to meet Bill Clinton, to meeting who in London, to meeting what. And even the other day, I saw he won Total Startup of the Year.
Total.
Yeah, Total normally have a competition called Total Startup of the Year. And I saw he was one of the winners.
Nice.
And even for him, he can't believe it, you know, that he'd ever meet certain people. But I guess it's because of what you said. If you excel at something, you know, it opens doors for you.
For sure.
How do you choose a co-founder? Because, you know, that's another thing that I see that suffers from businesses suffer from.
Yeah.
Friends become enemies.
For bad enemies.
People hate each other.
Yeah.
You know, so how do you choose a good partner?
Okay, good question. So, for me, fortunately, it wasn't a matter of like I went and sat down and decided, let me choose who to partner with and who to start with. We started on common ground where we are friends. Then we found something we both like, and we were both obsessed with it, and we started on. So I didn't really go looking for someone. Some people actually do that, and it's quite tedious. For us, it's good. That's what I'm saying. It's been God on the steering wheel the whole time. We never knew we'd ever meet each other. No one ever planned for us to meet. We just happened.
Yeah.
So, but there's still things you can look at when you're choosing a good co-founder. Or rather, like for me, what I can answer, how have I sustained the relationship I have with my co-founder, my partner, till where we are today? One, you have to look if you two are walking on the same path. Are you both obsessed on the same thing?
Yeah.
And you sit down. Now, this is like a relationship. You need to sit down with your partner. And this is, it's even, I won't say more important, but it's more serious than a relationship because it's a matter of life and death situation. Look at the goals you're working towards. You might be starting a very good business with someone who's obsessed, but mtu anafikiria vile kuscam wase. Because in Forex, you can scam people very easily. It's easy. So are we both integrity? Do we have integrity? Are we moving on the same path? Are we working on the same goal and vision? Now, you really need to be on the same page with that. You can't be going like this and me, I'm going like this and we think we're going to succeed. That's what has brought us from Zimmerman to Lavington, our office in Lavington. So are we on the same page? Are we both deeply, immensely helping each other grow?
Yeah.
Because how do you complement one another? Ken is a deep reader. Ken reads and he reads fast. Me, I'm a slow reader. Me, if I'm reading a book, I won't take for life. Long time I used to, but these days I've speeded up my process of doing it. But Ken is one who got me deeply immersed in studying. And enjoying books. Because if you sit with someone who actually reads, you can know this guy is a reader. Like, what you're saying is intriguing. So he taught me that. What did I teach him on the other side? I taught him how to be eloquent, how to speak, how to speak your mind. Like, okay, I have an idea. How can I speak it out and make sense to people? And also in business, we complement each other in different ways. He's very technical. I'm more of the vision
personal branding,
Yes, personal
marketer.
branding.
Yeah.
Ken is not good in front of cameras
Yeah.
and all that. He's become really good at it. If you see our first videos on our YouTube channel that we started in 2018,
Yeah.
you'd see Ken is there just like
That Kashage in the corner.
he's just a
Yeah.
small guy, but
Yeah.
fast forward to today, he can speak in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, me growing up as a pastor's son,
Yeah.
used to sit in front of the church, a congregation of 10,000. Pale umetu huko mbele, come say hi.
Yes.
It sort of just came naturally. So, but other than that, you really have to find a co-founder that you two are sort of like very good friends, because very good friends and meaningful friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not envious of Ken's growth, and Ken is not envious of mine. So I'm not trying to compete against him. We're complementing on. It's like a relationship.
Yeah.
We're complementing on another. If he grows, I grow. If
Yeah.
I grow, he grows, and the company, our baby, grows.
Yeah.
So you really need to look at those nitty-gritty things. The basis of money, or for a certain advantage that is monetary-wise, is going to end with the basis of the money used to come in. Okay, I'm coming to make this friendship with you because of money is going to come. There's benefit.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be beneficial for you to leave that friendship because of the money.
Mm-hmm.
So I can quote Seneca. There's something he says important about friendship.
Yeah.
He says, what benefits you from, what pays you to become friends with someone, it's
Yes.
going to pay you to also stop becoming friends with that person. Okay. Many people might think it's opposite. You become friends with someone, if it stops paying you, you stop becoming friends with it. But in actual sense,
Mm-hmm.
it'll pay you more to stop being friends with that person, because you come into a friendship where you find that it is not symbiotic. We're not both working on it for the same reason.
Yes.
So it pays you. It's actually more profitable for you to stop being friends with that person. You thought it was profitable for you to become friends. It's actually profitable for you not to associate yourself with that person. And I think a lot of people build their relationship and friendship on the basis of nipe nikupe.
Yeah.
Step on the dance floor. What can you give me?
Yeah.
On a light note, but you get my point. Like, if you don't benefit me, Tupac, then what are we doing? So at the basis of true friendship and true partnership and best relationships is meaningful relationship. And I think the most thing that I personally try and do, is do those two things in life: meaningful friendship and meaningful work. Okay, so meaningful friendship and relationship is the same thing, and meaningful work. Like, I don't think we are really brought into this earth to do much more than that. Now you can make it much more religious if you're a religious person, and say also to worship God and to praise God. But on a basis level, what we're all coming to do is have that relationship with one another and do something with your life. Like, what do you do and what are you good at? And those are the things I try and put my focus on. And why you're seeing, like, when we started building a family, being with my partner all this time, having a company that has run this time, is because you're trying to do those two things: relationship
And work.
and put them meaningful.
And I like that you brought in meaningful, and you brought in the aspect of friendship and relationships into this conversation. Why do you think a lot of people are suffering in this? Why do you think a lot of people are struggling to find meaningful relationships? I hear people complaining all the time about relationships, whether it's a friend or a partner.
It's because we're not taught what meaningful relationships are. So it's not partly because of us, but it's partly because of convention and how life is. If you go to school, we're not taught how to become friends.
Okay.
We're taught how to become academically smart, how to work for your boss, don't break the rules. So you're given this set of preset life rules and conditions that were set by someone we don't know. We've never sat down and taught how to adapt, how to be friends with someone and maintain a friendship, how to finances. It's sort of like the most important stuff we're not taught.
That's true.
Somehow in life. So we all go into the same rat race and chase the same thing, and that's why it's so lonely at the top, because it's hard to break that chain. You have to sort of unlearn to learn. And that's part of what we also do with finance. Everything, for you to make money in this industry that I am, you have to think out of the norm, think out of the box, think unlike the convention. So if I give a brief story of just finances and how money moves from the haves to the have-nots. So from the poor to the rich and vice versa. Not from the haves to the have-nots, but opposite, from the have-nots to the have. You know, the saying that says the rich keep getting richer,
Yeah.
poorer keep getting poorer. And if you're in the middle, there's a high chance you're going to become poorer. It's because these people have learned how to think opposite of the normal people. So, for example, let's say, let me use a very good example, Bitcoin. And many people know about Bitcoin. So, what happens when Bitcoin is creating new highs? Bitcoin is at $100,000. Let's say locally it's at 10 million. Everyone wants to become part of it. Like my friend just bought it at $1 million. It's not 10 million. He's made 10 million profit and all that. So you want to become part of that. So you're moving with the norm and the convention. What happens when the opposite happens? So in markets have to go up and down. So what goes up must come down. Bitcoin goes up to 60,000. It goes down to $15,000. During the way down, it's not been talked about on news, or rather people are talking about it negatively. So for a long time, I don't think tumesikia any news of Bitcoins and cryptos for a long time.
Yeah.
But where's Bitcoin at the moment? It's at all-time highs. It's back to $74,000 a coin, okay? Now, when people start making money is when everyone wants to join. But when it was going down, now the people who, in the markets, there's always a balance. If you sell something, there has to be someone who's buying it. So there's always, that's what we call it exchange, foreign exchange. It's not just money disappearing into thin air. If I lose, someone has made it on the other end. And if I make, someone has lost. So it's money transfer. So when Bitcoins are crashing, everyone wants to come out. So they sell their Bitcoins. Who are they selling to? Now they're telling their friends, I'm not buying Bitcoin. So their friends also wants to sell. The other friend wants to sell. The media is saying this thing is going to crash to zero. So who's buying from all these 10 million people? It's that one person with $1 billion who's thinking opposite. The haves. So it's like, okay, you guys just sell. Now, he's buying it at $20,000. Bitcoin is back to $80,000. If you put $1 billion, he now has $4 billion. Now, the many people who sold Ikienda Chini want it back. Now, hey, this thing, why did I sell? Let me just come back. It might go to 100 and 160 and I double my money.
Yeah.
This guy is not looking for it to go all the way up. He's made 3 billion profit.
Yes.
So he's looking, okay, you guys now coming. Okay, let me sell it back to you guys. So the few are always doing the opposite of the many. And that's sort of the mentality that happens with the world. We always want to do what other people are doing. And that's sort of why people don't really understand like friendship and such stuff at a deep level, because they want to do what other people are doing. Why not go sit down with an old person who has been friends with someone for a very long time and ask them for advice? We never try and do that.
Friendship.
We just see online who do the friendship of maybe Kanye and Jay-Z. People will envy that. Then all of a sudden they stop being friends. Then you're like, oh, okay. Maybe this is what relationships are about, friendship. It can come and go. No, let's build meaningful stuff.
No, I agree with you. And I think 2 years ago, interestingly, I went to one of my uncles. I wouldn't say grandfather, uncles, but he was quite old. I went to his funeral, and the one thing I realized about him and his wife did everything together. Yes. And even we were then like, that's actually quite weird. Like they were working together, playing golf together, taking holiday together. Everywhere he was, she was there.
Okay.
But you see, again, the norm is maybe what we've been told is no, you have to have some separation or some time away from your wife. You can't do everything with her.
Together,
you get?
Yeah.
But you see, for him, he was not. And I think...
And I'm sure he was pretty happy.
I think very content with what he had. And this is like... Maybe I think they were together because they got married at like 20-something and he was passing away at like 80-something or 70-something.
60 plus years.
So like about like 50-something years. Yeah. And this, they seemed happy. And in fact, like when they were showing the photos of him on the screen at the funeral, not half of them, only I think like 4 didn't have his wife. So wherever he was taking a photo with someone,
they were together.
The wife was somewhere there nearby.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, but... I get what you're saying. So think away from what other people are thinking, and that's what social media has come to tell us, that this is the way life should be. This is where things should be. Yeah. And
it's the unfortunate thing with our industry, forex investing.
Again, yes,
it's what people think you can get rich quick. Those are their myths. You can, if you're gambling. You cannot, if you're making $1 billion business out of this. If you just think about it, someone with $1 billion, okay, let's talk big, because I like talking big numbers.
Yes.
If you have $1 billion and you make 10% return, how much is that?
That you know me, I'm not that good in math.
Okay, 100 million.
Yes.
$100 million.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You have $100, you make 10%. That's $10.
Yeah.
You've done the same thing. The
Yes.
only difference is the amount of money you have.
Yes.
This person with $100 will be like, nah, this is not a sustainable business. This can't work. This $100
Yeah.
needs to grow to 10,000.
Yes.
How can I make that work? And they're busy thinking how to make that work. So I have a video that's dropped on my YouTube channel, Financial Hub Forex Academy.
Yeah.
And guys can go and check it out and see. There's a video dropped where you'll see the title. It's big and scary. I said how I lost $850,000, so about 100 million Kenya shillings. And I give the story of that now. What happens in this industry we are in, we have what we call prop firms. So these are firms that give us access to capital. And once you get capital, let's say I get 100,000 from them, we share profits. If I make $10,000, I keep 80%, they keep 20%. So I keep about $8,000, they keep that. So I had my accounts, and this year when the year started, I had accounts worth 850,000 with the prop firms. Now they have certain crazy rules that if you don't abide by, you lose your accounts. So I started this year knowing I'm going, man, I have almost $1 million. I'm going to be rich.
Yeah.
I've made it. But somehow with the industry itself, something happened that was not in our control. And I lost 700,000 like this in a month. Pop, gone of my account. It's like you had a car and it's just taken away from you in a month.
Yeah.
Or like, not to say Gashago's position.
Yeah.
It just disappears.
Imeenda.
You didn't even fathom. Mwaka ikianza, you're fine. All of a sudden, things just change instantly. And many people might say, Karleb, you're done. Ibiashara, it's like, it's not for you, my friend. Just start something else. Just
stop.
Just stop this. And I like such... Yeah, like, tell me those things. Like, I normally tell my girl, Whitney, sometimes when things are going bad, she's like, do you want a hug?
Yeah.
Come, I hold you. I'm like, no, I don't want pity. Pity doesn't fuel me to work hard. Pity doesn't make me to get those new ideas. Pity will make you feel, oh, yeah, it's actually true. Maybe I'm going through a tough time. Maybe I'm depressed. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm not attacking those people, but this is on a personal level for myself.
For you, yeah. It's what
I
works for you.
want those critiques. I want anger. Tell me you can't do it. Let's try and prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people who are unreasonable think like that. If you're a reasonable person, someone will tell you, look, imeshindwa. You're like, oh yeah, by the way. If you sit down and reason with this person, he imekata. Also, you in business, you've told me you have your stuff going on. And I'm sure you have certain challenges where someone will tell you, hey, Tupac, this thing, man, maybe some people have done it. They tried it. Who are you?
Yeah.
Tell me those things.
No. It's interesting that you said that. There's a lady that wrote me an email the other day after trying to pursue her to jump onto our thing. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, why not try? And she said, like, she was actually there. She wrote me such a rude email. Like, not rude. Maybe she wasn't being rude.
Yeah.
But she's like,
out.
she's like, you know what? We've sat down and we've looked at it, and you know what we've decided, Tupac, is we do not want to be guinea pigs. I'm sorry. Bye. Look for us later when you grow. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, you're just there. That one, I felt it in my heart.
Yeah.
I think I even just walked downstairs 5 floors, came back up, just to breathe in, to breathe in and to breathe out. But then I was like, okay, it doesn't mean that because one person has said no to me, the whole of the world will say no to me. And weirdly, after that, the next day, I got even a call from a bigger client saying, yo, we've seen your proposal. Why don't you come for a meeting? But there are some people who, I was like, yo, I have no time to feel sorry for myself. I have an investor who wants a return. Who wants a return on his investment. I have a partner who's also believed in me that I'm not trying to let down.
Yeah.
And I have some people that I've employed who
Let me
expect
focus
a salary.
on those people.
You get, I can't focus on what's going wrong,
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's important to not listen to everything you're told, because if I did that also, just with my folks, I think I wouldn't even do what I did. Know that many people, when I tell my story, they think my mom is the protagonist of the story, but really, she is. No, wait, I'm confusing. There's the antagonist. No, many people think she is the antagonist. She's actually the protagonist, because when we started out, she used to be the one, and it's care and love.
Yes.
It's just that I'm not reasoning with what you're saying.
Yes.
Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah.
no, don't do that. Be safe. Don't go to Zimmerman, because she's asked me, you're sure you want to go to Zimmerman? You can think of Kileleshwa, because nimeletwa up hizi masides.
Yes.
So you that, like, I don't even know Zimmerman exists. So why not come somewhere close? But I'm not that person of saying, okay, sawa mom, it's okay, people, I'll listen to you. No, you have to be really unreasonable. And that's good, and I like what you've said. Focus on the people who are pushing you to the next. Listen to the critic, because sometimes they have good feedback.
They have good feedback.
They have good feedback. You're like, okay, what can I improve? At the end of the day, it's business. It's not a relationship. You're trying. It's not nimekaa chuya alinionyesha vibaya. But like what you're saying, that's what I normally push to do.
I think they say money has no feelings. Yeah, so you don't take it personal. I think that's a lot of things that people do by mistake, is take a lot of business issues personal when it shouldn't be like that. Yeah, but what's kept you motivated all this time? You see, you just even recently told us that you lost a crazy amount, but you're here still pushing, going through. Other than the critics who are there to critique you and your work to prove them wrong, what?
I'm yet to see their comments.
Yes?
I'm yet, because the video is dropping in the next 1.5 hours today.
Yes.
So by the time you're watching this, I'm sure it's already up.
Yeah, it's going to be out.
Yeah, so I'm yet to see the critics and see what guys will say. But what really pushes me, at the end of the day, finish what you started. But this one, you have to be smart. It's a thin line. You can be trying to pursue and finish something that's not working.
Yes.
Like, I just have to make it work. It's a good attitude.
Yeah.
In business. But also fail fast. Know what's working, know what's not. Don't try and push something, because you might be very obsessed with something that's not really going to take you to where you think it will go. Maybe it's not the right time.
Yeah.
Maybe you're quite early, or maybe you've joined quite late, or maybe just this thing that just doesn't work. So it's very important to also listen. That's why it's important to listen to critiques on a level that doesn't put you down to quit, but at a level that you want to improve. So what keeps me going? I want to finish what I started.
Yes.
I want to create this industry called the Forex industry and investment in Kenya to be something that respected. Whenever you say Forex, guys will say, gambling,
scammers.
You're those people. And you know a lot of Forex. Some friends of mine call me and say, do you still do that thing? They sort of, it's a thing. Also, I'm sure you'll get those, like, he's still working on that project. Like project. Like, to me, this is not a project.
Yes.
It's like me telling you, bado na rezole mtoi. It's your baby.
Yeah.
But ule kamtoi, you're like, like, this is my baby.
It's like it's like a stepson or even some.
Yeah, it's like it's someone who came to my life and I decided, no, this is like my baby. I thought and conceived and, So I want to take it to a level where it's respectable. Humbly respectable. Not ile arrogantly ile, I told you guys. No. Ile, like, it was possible
to do it.
I took this journey, I paved the way. Hopefully this can inspire other people to go into that journey without feeling the shame of critique or a parent telling you, no, don't do that. Think about it. With the industries and how things have grown, if you were in the 1980s, 1970s, you're trying to enter into finance, you're telling your parents, hey, I want to go into banking. It wasn't a big thing. Or leave alone banking. Maybe it was something that was already establishing. You're telling your parents, I want to study tech.
Yeah.
There's this thing coming up called tech. They're like, what? This is unheard of. Kwanza, are you sure you even want to do that? It was, fast forward to 2024, every parent is pushing the kid to understand something about tech. Kuna hii AI, is ma crypto, vitu online. Learn, take a computer, teach yourself something. Do that 20, 30 years ago, you'd be like, the guy who's odd one out. Who do you think you are? What we've been here, we know what works. Do engineering, because long time, 20, 30 years ago is when buildings were coming up, roads were coming up. So if you went into engineering, those seems like the learned people and they know what they're doing. But the one guy who did tech, fast forward, they're the billionaires, the guys who are leading the industries today, and like where it was.
I'd like to know what the guy for Cellulant thought when he was building Cellulant.
Exactly. If you look at Cellulant, look at Kinatesh, Market Force, what they were doing with Market Force. Look at Flutterwave guys from Nigeria, mixing tech and finance, fintech, bringing it together. Ken Njoroge, he was part of the Cellulant team. I believe it's Ken Njoroge. I'm not getting that wrong. He was part of the founders. I think he left. I'm not so sure. Let me not speak of. You can Google and check. But you can imagine what those guys were thinking. It's Kenya and you're trying to build something. Imagine trying to build a Wi-Fi company back in 2005. Guys are like, okay, in Kenya here locally, one, it has not penetrated the industry. So tech, one, ijafikia many people Ushago or even in Nairobi. I believe now we've gotten almost, I was looking at the penetration for 4G, 3G, the sheet that Safaricom released the other day. It's a very good sheet of data that they have. And they have, I think, 97% penetration of 3G, 4G, and 5G, which is quite high.
Yes.
That's high. Technology-wise, Africa, we're leading. So those are things that now are really building up and that you should focus on. But like I'm saying, it's very hard to be on the right side of any industry. You always have to be on the wrong side. Like what you're doing is not going to work. Be on that side. Those are the people who are going to change the game.
The people who are disruptive.
Exactly. Good point. People who are disruptive.
I like also what you've said initially. You said you also need to know when to quit. Yes. And I saw a post the other day that said the guy wrote, he thinks quitting is for winners because knowing when to quit is equally important than staying in something too long.
Yeah.
If a car is crashing, you don't stay in it.
Yeah.
You need to know when to jump.
Come out, yeah.
And sure. I think there's also people that listen to this that they're staying in something, that might not be going the same way. And that's what you learn now from critics. And actually also just having that conversation with yourself. Like, look, me, I know. Now I need to quit. Yeah. So, there's this another thing that people think is that the teachers make more than the traders.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there's that speculation about that. No, these traders, yes, they just like to teach us because that's where the real money is. They don't make money off trading. What do you say?
So it's a thin line. Many people teach. They don't actually trade. And that's why when I was starting this conversation, I was saying we're sort of branching away from the teaching side because there's much more money to be made. When I started Financial Hub, a part of our goal was to impact people and educate people. But on a personal level, I didn't start Financial Hub to become the best teacher in the world. That wasn't my trajectory. I wanted to become a very good investor and trader. And I need to put more focus and time on that one because now that we're taking, like I was telling you earlier off camera, companies like JP Morgan are coming to Kenya. Now, JP Morgan is not a commercial bank that is coming to compete with KCB and take people's loans and capital. They're coming to look for investment opportunities. They're what we call an investment bank. They're the biggest investment bank with 3.8 trillion of assets under management around the world. That's huge. If you look at the economy of Kenya, we're just a GDP with 107 billion GDP turnover per year. But you have this company that is almost 38 times bigger than Kenya. So them coming to Kenya is actually a plus more than a negative because they're bringing opportunities for people like you and me, especially guys interested in finance, to be vested and build a career out of this thing called financial markets. So you're sort of putting yourself on the right line because they're coming, if you put money in something like JP Morgan, you're putting money for it to be invested and to grow, okay? Not just for building a credit score, how can I get more loans, how can I buy a new house with mortgage? Those are not things we're looking for. We're looking for those stuff. So, sorry, what was your question?
My question was, people think that...
Yes, teaching. So now we're sort of putting ourselves in that. So I've done teaching now for 5 years. I've sort of reached a plateau. When I started, it was really good. In that, it was a lot of feedback relationship with me and the students, knowing that I don't know much. And it's good to put yourself in such a position. Humble yourself to be of service to other people before you become a master. So I was putting myself at a service where I can get to learn. What do I mean? Ask me a question about how does interest rate policies affect a certain economy? Well, I don't know. I go research. I research deeply. I come and tell you. I go, ask me another question. How does inflation occur? How do prices of goods start going up? How does that happen in an economy? I don't know. I go research. I come back and tell you. So that relationship really helped us grow. But now, sort of, we've reached a plateau where we were like this, we've reached here. And we knew we'd get here. We knew that with Ken. So now it's a matter of how can I continue growing? How can I get into that tipping point? So a lot of people make money through teaching, especially abroad. I see a lot of people, they fund their lifestyle through teaching and all that. Trust you me, for us at Financial Hub, a lot of the money that comes through teaching was to grow Financial Hub. And that's how we've been able to grow from Zimmerman. We got an office in town, we expanded a bit, and now we're in Lavington. And the money that comes from that goes back into the company. How can you grow the company and give better services to people? But personally, I have employees, I have a team, everyone is sharing from the pie. I have rent, I have Wi-Fi expenses, I have business overhead costs. Zakayo anachukua some money there. So business here kufunza is not what is going to take me to the next level. It can sustain me for a certain time, but it won't take me on the tipping point. So yes, there's that business, but the true business, like I was saying earlier on, there's the teaching side and there's the trading side. These days it's about how can I share my performance. Look at my portfolio, look how I'm performing. How can I get more investors to come and invest? Think about it. I had that $850,000 account. I just make 10%, which is $8,500. Turn that into Kenya shilling, about 1.2 million. For me to teach, my course, currently we charge 50,000 for 2 months. How many students do I need to teach in order to make $1 million? That's 50 times 20. I need to teach 20 students. Yeah. That's 2 months or more of my time spending just teaching, when I can take one trade and make the same amount. So which one should I focus on? Even if I'm not good at trading, you should focus more on the trading. The teaching one, you depend on people to come. If they don't come, your 1 million is far-fetched. Yeah. You need to know how to market, know how to teach them, spend time with them, and all that. So these days I'm really focusing on teaching, trading more. It's what has given me, it's what has got me to where I am on a personal perspective to where I am today. The teaching is good, but I can say now the market is saturated, or more or less getting saturated. I've taught people who've gone to start teaching. I had employees who now I'm hearing are teaching. Yeah. So it means anyone can teach. Yeah. Very few can trade. Focus. Like I remember when I was telling you, do what people are not doing. And that's what I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is trading sustainable to anyone?
No.
Okay.
Big no. Even not to me at the end of the day. It is sustainable long term.
Yes.
But if you're someone, why I'm saying a big no and a very fast no, if you're looking for it to sustain you month to month, there are days I've gone, like I was telling in that video that I lost some money. For last 3 months, I've not been able to remove profits from the Forex market. Kabisa. And it's not a matter of I don't know what I'm doing. It's just the conditions haven't really favored me. Markets are very random. So it's very hard to make money consistently in a random environment.
Yes.
It's like here, a rat is running, a mouse. You're trying to predict where the mouse is going to go and be consistent every time. And you're not in its mind. So you just, like, I guess it's going to go there. It goes there. Like, this room is so big.
Yes.
That's how the markets are. You're trying to make money. You can be right maybe once and make very good money. Maybe even doubled my account. I made $1 million, Bob. But you stay another 3 months, you're just quiet. You're chilling. Maybe you're not having trades. You're losing money here and there. So what is important for me is risk management. How can I preserve capital before I even start capital appreciation? So for many people, it is not sustainable. And that's why many people fail in Forex. Because you just think of this one thing to give me money. So at the end of the day, that's why I'm telling you, I do many things. Niko na biashara here. Tuko hapo kwa garage. By the way, if you want your car to be fixed, come to Sin Auto. We're here in Langata. We do anything, car, risk, praise, and all that. So I have that business with my partner. We keep pushing that one. It's going well. Have the education side. And now we want to take education to a new level. We want to stop just focusing on Forex. We want to tap into the financial mindset of people. People are not taught this in school. So that's what I want to go teach. these things we're talking about, that's what we want to teach. So that's what we'll be doing from 2025. It won't be just a normal Forex course. Course industry iko saturated. Let the new John Doe come and do that business. Tumewachia.
Yeah.
See to go on the next level. And then on the other side, focus on trading. That side has potential to make you a billionaire in this lifetime. And when I say billionaire, I'm speaking in dollar terms. Let's think big. Aim for the stars, land on the moon.
Yes.
And that's what I'm really. Hopefully, I also land on the stars, not just land on the moon. So yeah. So that's what we're really focusing on.
Okay. What do you think has, over the years, has been your biggest lesson about the financial market?
Don't get cocky. You can get cocky in the financial markets, especially after you make. I've made most of my big losses from after my biggest returns, because you become grandiose mindset, where you think, I know what I know. Forex really, an investment really humbles you to know that I can be good today and very bad tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's not like some industries where, like industries like engineering, where things are governed by the laws of physics. It's fixed, it's never changing. So every single day, if I come and build a certain structure, I'm focusing on the laws of physics to make it work. So that's why you have someone who can build many buildings and very successful. But in trading, you can become very good today, but the market conditions are changing. There's no laws of physics where let's just focus on this, it'll always work. It's always changing. There's no one who's made consistent returns like without having any losses. Losses are there, winners are there. So it's a matter of how can you balance the two. So that's really what pushes me to become good at every single day, not to lose focus and to remain really steadfast on what I'm working on.
Okay. And what do you think your biggest lesson over these years has been on entrepreneurship? What has entrepreneurship taught you?
Usifanye biashara moja.
Yes.
Don't focus on one business.
Yeah. There's people who will say the opposite of that focus.
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to for a long time. I used to focus. Just do this one thing. It's good for a start. Very good. And you become good. You remember when I was saying, become skilled at that one thing. And that's what I want to do with finances and financial wealth management. But people lose it along the way. They sort of, what else can I start doing? Now for me, I used to be very, very strict. Do one thing.
Yeah.
Just do one thing.
Yeah.
But that one thing, like, what? Don't get me wrong. Become good at one thing.
Yeah.
Become very good. Become the best. Niche. You're being told, if I want this thing, go to Karleb, go to Tupac, go to Shaq. Those guys know what. Like, if I talk anything to deal with media and entertainment, Shaq. Biashara, online and stuff, Tupac. Forex trading and finance, Karleb. Like, first to pop to mind. Become that good at that thing. But along the way, it's not the only thing that can give you money. Like, things happen along the way. COVID can happen and affect maybe like media, for example. Guys are now online, so you're not missing physical. So for a short time, maybe it affected you. But if you had something running, it's like an insurance.
Yeah.
I don't take insurance because my house is burning and I want them to save me. I take insurance to prevent, in case in future something happens, they can come in and help me. But it's not that I really need them. So for me these days, I teach people entrepreneurship that. Another thing, what you were saying, fail fast. If something is not working, do not give up fast, but notice when something is not working, which is quite hard. I think you need to have some sixth sense.
Yeah.
To figure that out.
There's a difference, I think what you said, there's a difference between fail fast and give up fast.
Yes.
Fail fast means you keep on trying,
Keep
on failing to see if it's the right thing.
Yeah.
Give up fast means you've tried once and now you've given up.
Like I'll tell you a funny story of us failing fast. Before we got to our first office, we called for a certain event in Pride Inn. We wanted to host people and we're charging 15,000 per person. And so we put posters. We didn't have an office, but we thought we had a good presence on YouTube. Put posters, and we started that. Now, the people at Pride Inn told us, you need to pay deposit and full amount. So you need to pay half deposit 14 days prior, so 2 weeks prior. 7 days prior, you need to pay full amount.
Yeah.
So as we're done our calculation, if we're charging 15,000, we get 10 people, that's going to be 150K. This place, they were charging us 100K.
Yeah.
So we were still young. We knew 50K is a good profit. So
Yeah.
It's something. At least it's not a loss. Trust you me, no one paid. No one, zero. And 14 days came, 7 days came, and we had to pay the full amount. And when we paid the full amount, 100K, mind you, I'm like 19. This money I could have used it to do something else. I paid for that event. So many new Kenyans are last minute people. They're going to buy these tickets and come for the event last minute, because there are some people who are hopeful and telling us, we'll come.
Yeah.
Trust you me, no one came. We parted our own money. We did that thing for 3 days. We called. So when no one came, we had to think of something. So since we had already paid the money, it was a loss. I'm not going to sit here and eat all that food.
Yeah.
So we called people individually and told them, the people who were really interested but didn't pay, you know what? You've been carefully selected to come for this event. So we did that for each and everyone, the 10 people that came, and no one knew that the person next to them had come for free. But that was failing fast. We knew that model was not going to work.
Yeah.
We need somewhere physical where someone can come and spend 2 months with us instead of just 2-3 days.
Yeah.
And you see, that was failing. I didn't change my business.
Yeah.
I just adapted to what people need. So that was failing fast, get feedback and critique, move on to the next.
Understanding what the market needs. What do you think is the biggest lesson you've learned about yourself throughout all this? I saw, first of all, you journal a lot. So what's the biggest lesson you think you've learned about yourself
myself
through these ups and downs? Or maybe not the biggest, but what's one of the most profound ones? You know, there's a lot of lessons someone learns along about themselves, especially in a life like this, when you pursue to continue learning more about yourself.
What I've learned myself, and I did it, I think this week, actually yesterday, I'm very capable of, I can sell a dream. That's something I've learned about myself. People have been telling me, but so in the last yesterday, in 12 hours, I was having some challenges with my business, and we were really struggling, and I needed quick capital. And in 12 hours, I was able to raise a couple of millions to solve this issue. And I just pushed myself. I came out of the house, I entered the car, and I told myself, I'm going to get this capital. I need it. That's part of leadership role. You need to make things work. Go for the kill. Don't just say, I hope one day this thing, God will just, many people have, and that's what they normally say with the Bible, the scripture. You have faith, but no work. So you just sit down and say, okay, God, okay, if this thing works, just show me. You open your eye and just like, show me a sign that this is supposed to be for me. No, I think God believes in us doing a lot of action. As much as we have the ideas and the capability, go do it. So I learned something about myself that I need to push myself more. Like, there's much I've done, but there's much more I can do. And the only way you can accept that is by humbling yourself that you don't know much. So something I pride myself always, and I like saying, I never get to a point where I think myself as I don't want titles. I don't want to become called professor. I don't want to be called doctor. I don't want to be called engineer, like those top financial, because it sort of can get into your head. I'm always the type of person is, how can I always improve? What you call the Japanese word for improve is kaizen, constant improvement and growth. And that's sort of the mantra I live on. And that's personally how sort of my mind have been hardwired. Always learn. Another thing, very important thing, you're never the smartest person in the room. Like, I like asking questions. Like, when you came here, we were talking to Shaq. I also talk to you about your business, because you're always meeting new people, and people have different perspectives. We normally think we have it figured out with what I'm doing. Even if you're a billionaire, you always think you have it figured it out and you've understood life. But there's so much in life to learn that you can't learn all of it. So it's always important to also understand people's perspective and humble yourself. Like I said earlier on, with Financial Hub, we wanted to serve others before
you serve yourself.
Yes, like I always put myself in that position. When I find myself becoming good at something, I can remove myself out of that situation. Who is better than me?
Yeah.
Where can I go? What can I learn? Like, I remember when you called me yesterday when we were talking about coming here today, At first, I had a lot of commitments, and you've had me in some meetings. I'm telling people I'm coming.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, where can I also go and talk to someone and, let's have a conversation. Let's learn. Humble yourself. It's an opportunity. Personally, to me, I believe you're also giving me an opportunity to listen to you and listen to others and come and figure out life in a different perspective. I didn't just come here to talk and say stuff like, you guys, I know about what I do. Listen to what I want to say. I need to say. It's also about you, like what you're saying with what you're saying, like your uncle. The way he was happy. We've talked about your business. You've shown me something. You were doing it with my phone before you started.
Yeah.
Shaka ameniambia his dreams and what he aspires to do. Such stuff is what you look for out of life.
Yeah, I think, what do you think? I think we see a lot of men are suffering, like, mentally and everything. Do you think there's a relationship between financial health and mental health? Especially for men.
Yeah. For men, I think my own opinion,
Yeah.
I strongly believe a lot of things stem out, especially from a financial standpoint, that can come and hurt mentally. Because look, the core purpose of men, according to the scripture, I'll use that as a guide, not as general thinking, is our work was to cultivate the land. The ladies were brought as a helper, and it says that, so man needs help.
Yeah.
But us were told, go forth and cultivate the land. Basically, we were told, go and work.
Yeah.
So the society we live in, the reward for work is what? Money. Financial capabilities. Or how financially strong are you? And in order to survive in today's world, unfortunately, it's not a matter of goodwill, and we're not living in a communist country or a socialist country where we can share stuff. It's not a community-based country. It's a capitalistic system, where the more you have, the better you are. The less you have. So society imetujenga hivyo, unfortunately. So we just have to cope with this society mindset. So if you don't have this, that means mentally you're going to suffer. And you find a lot of people, a lot of men especially, since... and it's unfortunate. I was asking my friend, and this is just on a different note, who do you think... which generation do you think is working most? Ours or our parents?
I think our parents worked most.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think people can think about that. Conversation for another day.
Yeah.
My friend, Sichi, it's
Yeah.
actually Sichangi, because we also talk with Sichangi about business and all. To him, this generation is working harder. But a conversation for another day. We might have maybe a debate one day about that. Yeah, but...
I think that it's good that you said this, yeah? And I've been working on the 2025 Just to Kick It Is a Blessing journal.
Yeah.
And one of the quotes I saw was around, I can't remember exactly what it was written, but it said something about success shouldn't be measured about what you have or whatever, but it should be measured about how far you've reached from where you started.
Yeah.
You get? So for me, when I look at it, I just look at where my parents started to where they reached, and that's now how I'm measuring it. But of course, maybe for him, he also has a way he's measuring.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He broke it down to me quite profound. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully one day we can have him maybe get his perspective.
Yes.
But he had a very good perspective on it. And I believe on both sides. It's very
both,
dependent on someone's thought process.
Yeah.
And all, and how they're comparing. It also depends on that.
Yeah.
So we had that conversation with Sichi. It was quite interesting. But back to continue with what we were saying. Sorry, that has lost my thought of train. I was answering what?
Mental health.
Yeah, mental and financial
relationship.
It was an important question. I don't want to leave it. So yes. So, and that is why that's why I want to go into what we're building on next year. And I really want to focus with a mentorship program of people in their 20s. I strongly believe if you can sort yourself financially in your 20s, then you have a good foundation to enter into the next, more or less, adulthood, which now comes with parenthood, relationships, businesses. People are dependent on you. In your 20s, you're more dependent on other people, parents especially, guardians. But how can we now fuse the two? So that's what we're going into next year and what we want to teach people. This mental depression that many people... unfortunately, you even find people killing themselves because they just can't cope with this world, both mentally and financially. They can't provide for their family and for themselves, which leads them into deeper depression. So I think there's a very thin line between the two, which are very much connected. I'm not to say that all mental problems stem from finance.
Yeah.
It could stem from many other things, but finance deals with a lot. Like with the scripture says, money answereth everything. Okay. It doesn't say it in a worship way, like worship money, it's going to answer all your problems. But if you think about it in true essence, finance can really help you avoid a lot of problems. Okay, a lot, especially if you got it in an integral way, in a very good way. Look, for example, you're shooting this podcast; it's not free. Your parent gets sick, they need hospital care. Like, you really want them to get better, but they need hospital care. Finance, come on. We don't live in a world where finance is free. We're not in UK. I believe in UK, many of the medical staffs are quite free. But around the world, this big pharma have really monetized the illness of people to their own benefit. So you need money to do anything. To live in a house, just to live and sleep well and eat, you need money. So how can we be able to sort that, sort of the on the lower part of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, before we go to the top, which is self-actualization, which is more or less to deal with your mental state.
Yeah.
So let's deal with this one at the basic level before we go into the mental one. So we'll talk about that on a different day and go deeper into it, but I strongly believe those two are very much connected.
Okay. I don't know. We're coming to the end of this, whether you had something that you wanted to ask me, or if you think I should have asked you something that I might have forgotten.
Oh, for me, it's just maybe from the background we were talking, I mean, off camera, we were talking earlier on. Have you shared with your followers about your business?
Yeah, I've talked to them about it.
Okay, because it was quite intriguing.
I'm still in the process of building it and bringing it on as a partnership. So that's in the talks. I think from the next one, there's that. But I'm like you. I'm working on, again, so many things at the same time. So it's when to talk to, or when to bring each of them now.
Okay.
Because even the other one is quite interesting. I'll share a bit more about it when now it's finalized. But yeah.
Okay. Because it's interesting stuff. I like what you're doing. It was interesting. I've never
Thank you.
heard of it. So I believe your followers can really help push that.
Yes.
Yeah, you already have a good audience.
Yes.
So it's a matter of that.
Yeah. Okay. I think from the next podcast, they should definitely jump in as a partner and now have it more spoken about. But thank you so much for that also.
Yeah.
For putting it out there. I really appreciate it.
But other than that last one.
Yes.
For you asked me the same question. What is the most important thing you've learned about yourself?
Okay. I don't know whether there's like an important thing that you learn about yourself. I think for me, I've constantly been now learning about myself, and that's what journaling has helped me, because now I have a journal which I've been working on for like 2-3 years now, that has a question every day. So every day I'm answering a question that's forcing me to think about myself. So most important thing I've learned about myself. Wow. I think there's a lot of things I've learned. I get to learn about myself is maybe the most important thing is, I think recently I've learned not to give up, and to persevere through things. So basically, as an A student, I was always good at succeeding. I was always good at school. In
good with academics.
I was good academically. In football, I was good. So I was always in the first team. And in golf, I was decent. So I was always. But I think recently, Biashara has taught me failure. And now dealing with that failure is what I think is the most important thing I've learned about myself recently. So when this doesn't work, how to, lift yourself up. Because in school, it's not, and that's what I say, it's not hard to pass school.
Yeah.
Yes. But life is different. It's very different. And that's, I think, now what I've learned, because some days I wake up, some days I don't even sleep. Like, my sleep is bad because I'm like, okay, shoot, where are we at a business? Especially when we started, there was days I wouldn't want to go to the office because I'm like, now what am I going to tell my investor? I'm talking to the developer. He's not giving me information about where we are. The investor, he wants to know, okay, look, 2 weeks ago, you guys told me you're here. Yeah. Where are you now? The guy's telling me, coding is like 1 million lines, Tupac. Just wait. And I'm like, bro, I meant to have a meeting every Wednesday. I don't understand that. And then that's not working, that's dropping out. And then, so there's been a lot of failure, but it's taught me how to deal with it. Because before, when I used to fail, I never used to take it too nicely, And my friends would tell you, I think a day I missed a penalty, and it was to win a cup. Those high school things those days, yeah. And I cried in the bus all the way home from like Oswald till like Nairobi Jaffrey's. I just cried because it wasn't something new to me to fail. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what
I think that's the one thing I've learned, like just how to deal with failure. And you'll be told no, and you'll be told okay, but consistency, persevere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was also very shy. I'd ask someone something once. If they tell me no, I've left it. These days, like you see the lady I was telling you about earlier on, if you see my emails with her, bro, me, I'll write for you an email every 2 days. I don't care.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, I want something from you. Whether you give it to me or not, it adds very little value to you, but to me it adds a lot more value. So yeah.
And that reminds me of a quote by Denzel Washington. He was giving a commencement speech some school.
Yeah.
And he said, and it's like what you just told me with academics and all. When you finish school, the way you said, academics will not succeed, but life is different. So I think he summarized it in a quote and said, you have now passed and gotten your degree, and all of you have gotten good passes. And the system has really taught you how to succeed, but it hasn't taught you how to fail. And that's why most of you have succeeded. That's why you're here. You have succeeded. But now you're going into life, and you need to learn how to fail. I think in the normal life, it's a constant. Failing is a constant in many things, not just business, relationship, different endeavors that someone pursues. So it's a good thing at least you've learned that if you are sharp, me sasa I'm say sharp, surely.
Yeah.
I was sharp.
Yeah.
I just didn't like.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's also good to know what you wanted.
Yeah.
I think I was sharp for also my own reasons. I was like still the shortest, but I was really short back then.
But sharp.
With some weird glasses and everything.
So
So my only way
geek.
my only way to have stood out in the class was to be smart.
I get.
to be recognized.
I get.
You get, so I had to do that, Yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah, you see also that's now something that I've also learned about myself. Like in primary and secondary where I took school very seriously was because I didn't know which way I'd stand out. So my sports, trying to be the best in football and all those was my way to, succeed because I wasn't the biggest guy in the class.
But you became good at it, yeah?
You get, yeah.
It was a good trade-off.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Okay.
But thank you so much for blessing this channel.
You're welcome.
And I'll definitely have you again. I know very soon, as you share with us this new journey that you're about to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing so much wisdom.
You're welcome.
I wish you all the best with your company, and may God continue to bless you.
Asante. You too.
Thank you.
God continue to bless you.
For those of you tuning in from home, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Just to Kick It Is a Blessing podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast where it's all about time, where we teach, inspire, motivate, and entertain through the art of storytelling. And remember, no matter where you are or what you are going through, Just to Kick It is a blessing. Thank you, and see you next week. Goodbye.